G'day, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is Dave, and I will be your keeper of arcane lore for this session of Call of Cthulhu. Today we are beginning a brand spanking new campaign with session 1 of the Two-Headed Serpent. You can get your own copy of the campaign in both physical and digital formats from chaosium.com. We'll also be doing a giveaway, given that this is the first session of the new campaign, and I'm now going to pass it across to James with the details.
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. We are doing a PDF giveaway today. So if you want to get a PDF copy of Two-Headed Serpent, all you have to do is type into the chat, !Serpent. That's !Serpent. There will be a little confirmation message, but don't worry if you don't get it. That is on a timer. It can't refresh everything, and I can confirm that we will be getting your entries. We will do a drawing at the end of the session, and I just want to say that if you are subscribed, you will get some additional luck in the random draw. There you go.
Thanks, mate. Beauty. So it's !Serpent to enter. Now, as always, we'll be streaming this campaign live each Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific on the Chaosium Twitch channel. All of the videos are then uploaded across to the Chaosium YouTube after a few days. I'd also like to thank Roll20 and Sirenscape for being great tools which we use to improve our games. Now, without further ado, let's jump in. It is 1933, and all four of you are members of Caduceus, a humanitarian charity that helps people in need all across the globe. Your current mission has brought you to South America, where the Chaco War between Bolivia and Paraguay rages. You are being sent to a recently established aid camp in Paraguay to disperse aid to those who need it. The fighting has moved on, but the wounded soldiers and villagers left behind still need your support. Early yesterday morning, your plane deposited you safely on the border of the jungle. Your contact in the region, Dr. Arturo Ursini, met you at the once military airstrip with a wide smile, mules to ferry your supplies, and the promise of several long days walking. Your team's handler and pilot, Quentin Shapiro, has stayed with the rest of the support team within radio contact range to watch over the plane. You are traveling north through the jungle for almost 2 full days now. You've camped overnight once, and you've stopped almost hourly to rest in the humid heat. At long last, you are nearing the aid camp and are pressing on into the final leg of the journey. Can we get a glimpse of each of these new heroes and describe them after 2 long days of travel, sleeping in the jungle and carrying all your gear on your back or kicking mules to send it forward? And why don't we begin with Art?
Hi, I'm Art, and I'm playing Lieutenant Aries Carter, and I can assure you the pleasure is all yours. Lieutenant Carter is dressed in... I'm going to find my notes because I wrote it down and then I promptly forgot because introducing new characters is terrifying. Hi everyone, I exist. They are dressed in immaculate military-inspired attire which has been strategically styled to exude an air of relaxed confidence. If there's one thing you can be assured of about Lieutenant Carter, if anything is out of place, it's intentional. They are... very, being a military officer, at least at one point in their life, they are very used to being in uncomfortable or unpleasant environments and looking like they have themselves very well put together. So they are not currently showing any kind of distress or unhappiness with the long walk. If anything, maybe there's a slightly firmer set of the brow, but otherwise they are strolling along with a rifle slung over one shoulder, a pistol on a belt slung over their hip, and there is a rather large knife strapped to their belt. And they are sort of just looking around, keeping eyes on the surroundings. And that is Lieutenant Carter.
Tremendous. Thank you, Art. Let's next have Jackson introduce his character.
That's me. I'm Jackson. I'm newly moustached and I'm playing Dr. Samuel Taylor Thompson, who is a stand-up guy. He's trudging along with his aviator's jacket and stethoscope around his neck. No, I won't go into that now. We'll see it live. That's fine. He's doing fine. He's keeping everyone's spirits up with some jovial kind of quips and antics, and keeping everyone's mind off the drudgery of trekking through a jungle. And every now and then there's a caw of a falcon circling some way overhead, his faithful companion, always close by. What else do you want to know? The art says it all, doesn't it? Picture 1,000 words. Oh well, yeah, but we'll hear it, in context. Yeah,
Okay.
Makes sense.
That's
Okay,
right.
fantastic. Let's next have James introduce his character.
Absolutely. I am playing Hubert Smith, a great behemoth of a man who emerges like a shadow from the trees that we are all strolling through. Hubert is gigantic. He stands towering over everybody that surrounds him, and he's always got a big smile plastered on his face. He's just a really, really nice guy. He's having a fantastic time on this walk. He's been doing a lot of whistling in this very high kind of warbling bird song like way. He's got his hands in his pocket. He's wearing a big hat. He's very sweaty, but he's enjoying the vigorous exercise. This is the stuff of life.
Tremendous. All right, fantastic. And lastly, Alex, can you please introduce your hero?
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm playing, innocent Claire, but you can just call me Minnie, a graduate of King's College in London. But honestly, I don't know that I'm going back. They would like me to, but right now I'm just enjoying being out in the world. And this is it's terrible, but it's also quite marvelous, don't you think? I've never seen this many species of birds here before. And she is, by turns, complaining about their heat, exclaiming excitedly about something bright flitting through the trees, taking notes in her probably her 5th notebook of the adventure so far.
2 days in.
2 days in. Eyes bright, very disheveled, more sweat stains than is probably appropriate for a lady. She's clearly tried to put herself together in a appropriate manner, and it hasn't gone terribly well, but she is just clearly delighted to be here. She is laughing at every single one of the good doctor's jokes and is pretending, with probably a little bit more success than the others, to not be immensely annoyed by the whistling. She's doing her best, and so far so good, honestly.
So far, so good. Tremendous. So these are our 4 heroes for the campaign. And lastly, Dr. Arturo Ursini, your contact in the region, is an Italian bloke. He's got a mustache. It's of fine quality, although it won't go toe-to-toe with Dr. Samuel Taylor Thompson's. He carries with him a medical, first aid bag, and he has also loaded up his own mule with personal belongings and, importantly, a large radio. It's a portable one, and that can be used to talk back with Quentin at the plane and radio in support or ask confirmation. He'll have any answers to questions you propose. As I said, it's the second day of marching. You're moving through this dense, thick jungle. It's scraggly with thorns and vines. There's been the pitter-patter of rain pretty much non-stop for several days. And when you stop to camp, you've had to lay out tarps and things to keep it above your head. Every now and then, thunderclouds roll across. But at the moment, the sun has cleared and you're moving across a sort of like a packed dirt path not far from the aid camp. As you're getting close, Dr. Arturo Ursini has stopped to pull out a manila folder several times, and you can see it's got marked in big block letters, important, and then underneath that in bigger block letters, confidential. He opens it, pointedly kind of leans it away from you a little bit, thumbs through a couple things. You'll note a map and a couple other reports, and then he folds it, confirming his location. He sort of pauses in an area, a little clearing, and you're not far, and he says, listen, we're getting close now. I feel that before we arrive, I should warn you. There's more to our mission. It's more complex and more dangerous than you've been led to believe. You must constantly assume that crack. There's a sound from somewhere out in the forest, and in front of you, Dr. Arturo Ursini's head explodes. Red ichor rains down around you, and you are coated in viscera. Can I get everyone to please make a sanity roll?
Oh, that's
I feel like
Oh, I
that.
love this game.
Perfect
I
start.
feel like that was my fault. I just finished typing his name into my notes. And he
You
died.
can cross that
Did
up.
I do that?
This is a sign. If you take notes, Jackson, someone
You kill them.
immediately gets wiped.
Never. I tried it once.
I'd like
Never
it
taking
noted.
notes again.
I did not write notes about this character, and I'm fine.
Okay, I think we're just waiting. There we go. All right,
Oh.
amazing. Not a fumble because you're
Wow.
over 50. So we're going to say that the two that have failed were standing closest. Dr. Sam and Minnie, you were sort of across to the side looking across, but Lieutenant Carter and Mr. Smith, you were right in front of Dr. Orsini, and you're now looking up. Sort of you've been carried with like red paint just all down the front of your face. Your clothing is spattered with blood, and you're standing there shaking. Can you both take 1 point of sanity? And what is everyone's immediate reactions?
What bother?
We're in a jungle, right?
That's right.
Swing behind the nearest tree and aim the rifle in the direction of where that crack came from.
I'm gonna pull
Amazing.
my book holster around just up against my face. Like, whoa.
After you, please.
Who we got? So Wilhelmina is nearby. Yeah, I would probably just hit the dirt, pushing Wilhelmina down with me.
Okay, so Sam slams to the ground and drags Minnie down
I
with
don't,
him.
know, I don't know if that was a thing. I don't know if Sam prefers calling her Wilhelmina, but I won't do it again.
I think
Hubert?
I will just stand shocked,
Eating
kind
dirt.
of wiping bits of her CD off my face, going, oh! Again and again.
I think at that point,
Before probably trying to hide behind a tree and leaking out on both sides.
Tremendous. Okay, so Lieutenant Carter, like the military training kicks in, you have the shock, and then when you sort of like blink the blood out of your eyes, you've taken cover behind a tree and are peering out, trying to find where you think the gunshot, if it was that, came from. Immediately you're getting the flashes of previous wars. Dr. Sam hits the ground and drags Minnie down with him as Hubert Smith stalls for just a moment, and I'm going to get everyone to roll dexterity. For this, we're going to be using an optional initiative rule, which is dexterity checks, rather than just going flat. So it means there's an opportunity for things to kind of change, and it's not always a given who acts first.
So it's by level of success, I can imagine.
That's right. And then within that, we can determine as needed. I'm just going to scroll up. So we got a
Dingo.
hard from Wilhelmina.
Regular from everyone else.
Regular from everyone else. Okay. Wilhelmina, you're going to get to go first, but not before there is another crack as someone takes aim at Hubert Smith. So just a moment. I'm going to roll this behind. I'm going to roll this to just myself. No one else needs to know.
I'm immediately.
Oh, we do. I
crit.
think we do. I think we do need to know, actually.
Immediately take him
I'm
out.
pretty sure. No?
I think we're about to know.
I think we're
Okay.
about to know. I think we'll find out.
There's another
Short order.
crack from somewhere, and Carter, you're beginning to be able to triangulate. You were listening for this one, and you know it's north. You estimate about 30, 40 yards up through fairly dense jungle. Hubert, you're standing stalled for a moment. When the second crack goes off, a branch not far from you just explodes into shrapnel, and suddenly you're kind of stirred into action. They have missed their attack. Minnie, we're going to go to you first, and as you begin to move, you can spot like jungle shaking slightly as things are moving towards you. Even down on the ground, there's something approaching. It is your turn.
I've got my handgun. I might just kind of spit out a mouthful of dirt, mutter, really, Doctor, that was entirely unnecessary, and fire off a shot into the trees.
Okay. Are you
On the
taking
ground, I'm just gonna...
taking a shot at one of the sort of like the moving, something moving through the bushes? Can you make it'll be a handgun test. Take it with a penalty dice, though, as you don't have a target lined up just yet. But hey, there's always a
Am I
chance.
pretty sure that that's where it was coming from, though?
Yeah,
like,
that's,
I'm not,
you're aiming northward. Yeah, that's right.
Nah.
Let's see if
one of
there's
the
a
penalties, yeah.
fumble.
No.
No, not a fumble. So you should just like read up and fire the gun and back, telling them, don't come no closer. Do you want to move or you want to stay on the ground?
I'm gonna move, and I'm gonna try and get myself hidden.
Okay, you begin to sort of like push back off the path and into the brush on the other side. We won't have you hide this round, but you can look to do that next. Following, who wants to go first of Lieutenant Carter, Dr. Sam, and Hubert?
I mean, I assume I do, given that my dexterity is 80 and there's a
All
50.
yours.
Lovely.
Take it away.
You said there is movement in the bushes.
Yep, leaning out from behind your cover, you can see the bushes shaking as something is approaching. There is more than one, although you can't tell how many. Just given the wideness, you'd estimate a party of between 2 and 4. Maybe 5 if they're walking in single file. But the crack that came a second time has not moved. So whoever's basically taking like sniper shots at you is static.
How far away are these things approximately? I'm sorry to make you do this.
That's all right. The ones coming towards you would be about 15, 20 yards and closing. The one that took the couple shots would be about 40 yards away. Although these are all estimates, you haven't gotten a chance to take a close look yet. You could swing around and try and pick any of them out.
Does pulling my rifle out like as the immediate action count as aiming, or would I need to do that this turn if I
you could, if you wanted to. Currently, you don't really have a target to pick out to just start aiming. It'd probably be spot hidden to see if you could find the one who's taking the shots at you, or you could ready it, and I'd be happy for you to aim and say when one of these ones approaching breaks the tree line, you can get a clear shot. You can take a crack at him.
Okay, I will, given that there are some that are coming close to us, I will flip the rifle up over my shoulder and pull out my handgun and ready to fire at whatever I see coming out of the brush, which hopefully by that stage will be within the 15-yard point-blank range of my pistol.
Hell yeah. All right.
Yep.
Fantastic. So behind the tree, you hold the unsheath and then hold your pistol, waiting for someone to approach, and we'll go now to Dr. Samuel Hubert.
We'll never know what Hubert's doing, but we can hear him not.
You're both on the same decks as well, so...
Sorry, did Hubert get shot or not?
No.
No,
Dr. Sam, why don't you go first? No,
I'm
he
going to
did
check
not.
if he got shot. I'm going to check if he got shot.
Okay.
Just in case. I'm going to belly crawl down and try to pull his significant mass down onto the ground for cover and check him over for injuries.
Okay.
Sounds fantastic.
What do you say? You're both acting on the same turn, so Hubert, you can respond as you wish.
You're right, Huey.
I'm all right. I'm all right. I will get pulled down, and as I'm patted over, reveal that I am not, in fact, injured, although I am covered in blood. And I wear a lovely tan, kind of pale cream suit, so this is really going to stain. But while I'm on the ground, I will frantically gather up all of the effects that were dropped by our guide, including this now bloodstained manila folder, I imagine. I will also seize a hold of my walking stick. I have one of those hiker's sticks that people put charms on and little notes and things to mark all of the walks they've done. And I like to think of it as a mace. So I'm gripping it now with both hands, ready if something comes charging at me through the woods.
Fantastic. So you're going to be ready to take a crack at them. Just for context, as you both pulled down, you're on the ground whispering to one another. You're doing so over the corpse of the dead doctor. His head's just been completely evaporated into thin air. There's bits here and there, and it's all going down the front of his coat. His medical bag is miraculously unscathed, in the manila folder, although it's scattered slightly, is quickly gathered up by Hubert, and although there's a couple of bloody thumbprints on it, you can jam it just into your pockets and have it with you. Now, Hubert, you're going to be ready to take a swing at anyone who approaches. Dr. Sam, is there anything further you want to do?
I've probably got a medical bag of my own, but there's not much sense in leaving the other doctors behind, so I'll probably scramble and grab that.
Okay. You begin to pull things towards. Also, I forgot to mention, you do have mules and things traveling with you. They're reasonably sensible creatures, but they have probably given a kick and a start and are beginning to sort of bray and move behind you. They haven't panicked just yet. Maybe they're used to loud sounds.
If I may throw in one last thing, once, as I'm gathering everything up, once Dr. Sam has clearly determined I'm not injured, I will gesture towards the CD. He was shot, now treat him!
Towards
the doctor.
Go
the doctor.
ahead.
I think he's going to be all right.
The red mist.
Just forget about it, Huey. Let him go. It's all right. It's all right.
Okay.
All right. Lastly, so with Lieutenant Carter behind the tree, gun raised, Minnie pushing back into the underbrush, and Dr. Thompson and Hubert debating the likelihood of Dr. Orsini being able to guide them into camp, something comes stumbling through the brush. There are 3 figures, each of them dressed in Paraguayan military uniforms. They have shotguns held in their hand and a slightly sort of like a stupid look across their face. They come out of the brush and look around, almost taking a moment to notice where you are, and it's enough time for each of you to act. They are clearly moving with the intent to shoot the hell out of you. Lieutenant Carter and Mr. Smith, why don't you both take your shots? They are very much within point blank range or close enough for you to close and just slug the hell out of them.
Delightful. I'm just trying to... Hang on, it'll be on my character sheet.
I tip.
Good. You said there were 3 of them?
Yes, 3.
Great, I shoot 3 of them.
Ooh.
Because you took the...
Because I
Alright, so
took
you
the
wanna-
rapid fire pulp talent, which allows me to shoot multiple targets in a single turn without penalty.
Hell yes.
Outstanding.
They're point blank range, so these are all bonus.
Oh my
Okay,
god, that is
roll-
going to be...
So make 3 attacks. Sorry, each one's going to be with a bonus dice, so go ahead and roll against the first one.
Very
That's
good.
a hit
Yeah.
for
Second
6
one
damage.
is for 8 damage is the second one.
Yep.
And the third one
Oh, that's success.
is 4
Holy
damage.
shit. Well done. Okay. These 3 figures stumble out of the brush
Actually,
and look over.
Do I need to pick my targets before I shoot, or can I like shoot and pick each time?
You basically fire one after the other. Also, like, you've got it pretty handily. So as they stumble forward, shotguns lowered, they spot Minnie scurrying back first, and one of them levels the gun at, and then bam, he's hitting the side of the head, and he crumples forward towards the ground. Another one closes the distance before Dr. Sam and Hubert, but again, before he can pull the trigger, another crack, and he collapses down. The last one is winged across the back, and he twists around, leveling the shotgun at Lieutenant Carter. He does have health remaining, but Hubert Smith, you may take a swing.
I come tearing forward, and with a yell, I will swing my walking stick. And of course, because we're leading into this action movie style, I imagine the camera zooming terribly in to see like a badge that says, you know, Appalachian Walking Trail get imprinted against this guy's hand as I swing with a mighty hard success.
Champion.
And I will be dealing, one moment.
Oh, he can repulse this one, actually. Sorry. Give me uno momento.
Oh, dear me.
Forgot how these dudes work.
For both.
He's going to try and spank you. So he's gonna. Do you wanna? You don't need to lock that. He will get a regular, but it's not enough to close. Oh, sorry, they're Bolivian, not Paraguayan. My bad. How much damage do you do, Hubert?
12. I was just rolling to see the damage. Donk!
Yeah, you swing around. So he's been winged in the shoulder. He levels the gun at Lieutenant Carter. Before he can squeeze the trigger, you just slam the walking stick into the side. And exactly as you said, imprinted on the skull of his cheek will be the walking Appalachian Trail as he collapses down to the ground. As he hits, we'll go back to the top. And for a moment, there's nothing. But then, given Hubert, you are standing, there's going to be another crack of gunfire. Once again, I'm going to roll this secretly because who it is, I do not wish you to know.
Ooh.
Oh, shit. Does have a penalty. Okay.
Here we go.
That's a hard, so it's definitely going to be a hit. Hubert, you take 8 damage, please.
Oh dear. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay, you're standing next to the doctor. Standing next to the doctor.
What does it look
also-
like when you take... Now, remember, we are playing Pulp, so you have double the hit points as usual, and also ignore major wounds. They don't matter. You keep going until you hit 0. So, Hubert, what does it look like when you just absorb this, reasonably lethal shot?
I think that Hubert it's one of the. I'm thinking of the Forrest Gump scene where he describes being shot, and he says something came up and stung him, and he didn't even realize. I think Hubert doesn't really notice, and sort of just kind of moves sideways, looks back down to Dr. Sam, and says, "What?" as if he's been pulled at, instead of just being shot. For reference, I have 32 health because my size and my constitution are very high.
He's immense.
This has not struck me too severely.
Tremendous. Okay. So as the shot rings out, Hubert barely noticing the bee sting, we go back down to Minnie.
Vinny, I'm hiding. I would like to be stealthy, get myself into a spot where I simply cannot be seen, and make myself small and invisible in the underbrush.
Go ahead and make a stealth roll, and you can take a bonus dice, given there's thick brush all around you, and you know the direction of your pursuers.
Yes, and I took the shadow pulp trait, so it reduces the difficulty by 1, or I get an extra bonus dice to stealth rolls. And then if I'm unseen, I get to make 2 surprise attacks. So
fuck yeah! All right, so you can take
now.
So you can roll 2 bonus dice.
Let's just see what happens here.
Okay, a success, and it's confirmed. You slink back, like you said. What is? I mean, you are naturally good at hiding. What does that look like?
Minnie's kind of spends a second just looking around, spots a hollowed out log, and just kind of scoots herself backward, like with her heels along the dirt, just scoots directly backward into the tree, and is gone.
Never seen coming out the other side. Amazing. All right, so Minnie vanishes from sight, and we go back to Lieutenant Carter. There's been another crack, and you're beginning to hone in. Definitely 40 yards away, straight north, but obfuscated by a lot of like fallen leaves and things. You're actually thinking that they probably got lucky getting their shots off as well. It's going to be hard to hit them. What do you do?
I am going to listen very carefully for like any like essentially I'm trying to pinpoint where they are via sound rather than sight because I can't see them, and I'm going to aim.
Fuck yes. Okay, can you make a listen roll for me?
Sure.
That's a clever way of doing it.
Oh.
Sick. Okay, so
can't spot hidden for shit.
No, that
can listen.
That's awesome. All right, so with your back to the tree, stopping and holding your gun up to it, you try and listen. You try and zone out the braying of mules, the breaths of your companions, and you just make out on the edge of your hearing a engine ignition as a car comes to life. Okay, we go now to combination Dr. Sam and Hubert. Who wants to go?
After you, Dr. Sam.
Well, no, I'm planning to patch you up. So if you want to do something before that, then you probably should.
I've got a plan that I think is going to take me into an interesting direction, embracing the chaos of pulp. So why don't you patch me up and then
I'll patch you up first.
Okay.
Good call.
Dr. Sam, what's your medical expertise look like?
Well, I got pretty good. I got weirdly enough better at first aid than medicine. 85 first aid.
Whoa, nice.
So I'm just going to slap some medicine on him.
Okay, that's pretty specky.
Slap some bandages. All right, here it comes. Did that go?
Oh my god!
It went.
It
went
did an
hard.
Extreme. Oh my goodness.
I don't know if extreme is worth anything.
It is. So the healing for first aid in pulp is increased to be a D4, and because it's extreme, we'll maximize that. So Hubert Smith, go and take 4 points as Dr. Sam. What is it, like a bandage around his massive torso?
All right, yeah. Just like, flip it around like a lasso and just pull it tight and go
And away.
Fantastic. And I think that I'm kind of stunned. I've just been shot. I learned you and said, what? You jumped up, you dressed me a little bit, you slapped me, and with that, I will take my action. Now, it's impossible for me to cross towards where this distant sniper is. I'm a melee fighter with this stick, so there's no way I'm going to be able to get there. I don't really have the skills like spot, hidden, or navigate to be able to spot them from a distance. But what I do have is a way to get there real quick. I am above all a dilettante, and that gives me interesting skills. I would like to dart towards one of the mules, leap astride it, and yell, "Yeah!" and begin to ride towards at top speed, having to close distance with the sniper.
Yes!
Oh.
Yes!
Does the mule buckle underneath you?
Does the mule snap in half?
Is the mule carrying a plane?
I like to
good
think that there was a
questions.
Hubert-sized mule that was prepared.
Well, I imagine because not only being a large man, you are a dilettante. You had a large amount of luggage. So one of the mules was just this huge creature ripped with muscles, carrying 10,000 bags and things. And as you leap across it, you can kick at them all to the ground, slash the ropes, and take it away. Go ahead and make a ride roll, Hubert. I am like this is going to be staged. How much you can get hard will be for real success.
I completely
but
understand.
Go for it.
Go, Charlie! As I dig my heels into hard success.
Carter, you're behind the head. You go, everybody quiet, I'm listening. You hear the engine start, and then as you turn around to aim your gun towards it, you hear the running of hoofbeats as Hubert Smith, a massive man astride a massive mule, still comically small in proportions, goes charging past you through the underbrush and forging a new path through the growth towards the vehicle. Mr. Smith, you see a camouflage jeep, sort of like that army green, and it had sticks and branches and things laid over it to obfuscate where it was. A soldier is in the front seat, and as it roars to life, the front lights come on, the wheels spin, it kicks up dirt, and begins to race away along a track, heading in the general direction northeast, which is towards the aid camp that you're heading towards.
Fantastic. If it's, my turn might be over just getting across there, but if I still have time to act, while the vehicle is picking up speed, if it hasn't had time, I might cry cavalry and try and get across and smack the driver before he can get away.
Hell
Maybe we
yes.
can stop this one.
I would say, given you did roll the hard success, you can make if you want to try and make one crack before it accelerates to speed and gets away. Why don't you go ahead and make a weapon roll?
That sounds fantastic. All right, here we go. That's a success.
Okay, go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay. Do I get any bonus for being a top A horse? I'm thinking back to the BRP rules here, or should we just use my standard damage?
I think this is going to be standard damage, given
Excellent.
this is keeping you in pace with the vehicle as it begins to go.
That is going to be 8 points of damage.
Okay, amazing. So as you come alongside,
Shattering the window, I imagine.
You shatter through the window and just slug this dude in the side of the head. Looking around,
The
you'll
force
see
of a bullet just hit him.
you will see this guy has a 5 o'clock shadow all across his face. He has sunken eyes, and he has one of those flat caps pulled down low across. He's very skinny, and the uniform hangs off him. But you can see a number of medals alongside it. This man is clearly a lieutenant, captain, something, As he looks across at you, and as you slam into him, a couple of teeth shake loose. He spits blood down to the ground, and he will say, "You're going to regret that." But his foot lands down, and he will be able to roar away faster than your mule can carry you. And eventually, after a bit of hurrah, you will have to yield the chase, unless you want to carry on your own and see if you can catch him when he drives into a ditch.
No. This is a pulp adventure. I want the villain with a grudge against me to get away. This is perfect. I will wheel about Charlie and return.
Amazing. I will pass it off to the 4 of you as Hubert returns and all of you stand in the jungle, surprisingly quiet now. Any birds and things that were making sound previously have scattered from the gunfire. It takes a moment to get all the animals back together, but I pass it to the 4 of you.
All right, does everyone want to take some deep breaths?
What the fuck was that?
Carter is cleaning and reloading their pistol.
Climbing out of the tree, just hair and absolute, just a mess. Covered in mud.
Dr. Sam will probably put a coat or something over where Dr. Arturo's head was.
I think most of them got driven off, but is Arturo okay?
No, he's not. He's very much not okay. And I'm
The
going
good doctor is
to start
very
going through his pockets to try and find the folder.
I put it over there. It's. I'll hand it to you.
Hubert, it was like jammed into like scrunched up and jammed into your
Yeah.
pocket, but you can withdraw it.
Because he was guiding us, what
He was
who
in
were
the
they
middle of
with? I
saying
didn't get a good
something.
look at. Did anyone get a good look at them?
I rode up. I caught a sight of one of the lieutenants or captains or something, mean-looking sort. It was frightening. This is all. What does the folder say? When in
Which
doubt, we
army
follow
were they
instructions,
with?
right?
And I'm going to open the folder and have a look at
Okay.
the Dr. Redmist's notes.
So there's a couple of items inside. The first one I'm going to share with you now. Can you please confirm that you can see it?
Oh, yes.
Dr. Arturo, MD, dead.
So the first appears to be a map indicating the direction you are to take to arrive at the aid camp. It's not particularly detailed.
It does appear to be a map.
It does appear to be, but that's what they
But if you
want
turn
to
it
think.
upside down...
No, I think it's still a map, Doctor.
The second
Worth a shot.
I'm showing to you now.
Oh,
Okay.
And can I, Minnie, since you found it, would you please read it aloud
Right.
for the class?
Okay, so this is to Dr. Arturo. Caduceus mission briefing. Briefing for Bolivia mission. Proceed to aid camp scene map. Present Dr. Gomez in charge of the aid camp with the enclosed letter. You should first make your way to the site of the recent confrontation. The site is approximately 2 miles west of the aid camp on the far side of the river. Beware possible level 3 threat in the vicinity, and kind of meaningful look at the lieutenant there like, you're going to have to explain that one. In the vicinity, our intelligence on the threat is regrettably limited. We believe the threat is a temple guardian of some kind. Your mission is to enter the temple and retrieve the mummy for immediate return to Caduceus HQ in New York. Any accompanying artifacts should be likewise recovered and brought home. Your team of specialists is very able, but new to the job. As always, we find it best to initiate and test newcomers in the field. Brief them as and when you see fit. We will expect a report on the individual team members on your return. You have proven over and over again that you can keep your head when those around you are losing theirs. We have every confidence in your abilities. Regards, Shapiro.
That was a poor choice of words to finish with.
Quite.
There is a letter enclosed along with it. It has been, there's no like wax seal, but it has been like, licked and pat down, and it is addressed to Gomez. Those are all of the contents.
I'm going to... Wait, is it addressed to Gomez?
It is. It has a bit of blood on the edge.
That's okay.
Well, we have instructions at least now, putting aside all of this about temple guardians and level 3 threats and reports and secrets. We have to head to the camp. We have to find Gomez and we have to deliver the letter. That seems
Of course. That's exactly what we have to do. I'm going to drop the letter into the dirt and stand on it and like rub my heel into it so that the paper tears enough for me to get the letter out.
Yes. Okay.
I'm
It
gonna
kind of
read the
like
letter.
breaks along the side and looks as though it was just trampled by, one of the soldiers in the attack, or possibly one of the mules as it fled. And I'm now going to
Shame.
share to you another handout.
Fantastic.
Coming through. Oh, here we go. Show to everyone. It should be coming through now. And Minnie, if you could read this one too, please.
Dear Dr. Gomez, we hope that all is well at the camp. This letter should be handed to you by Dr. Arturo, a trusted member of our organization. He and his team have important work to conduct in the vicinity of your camp. Please extend to him and his team your support and hospitality. I trust the additional staff and supplies that he brings will prove useful. Yours sincerely, Shapiro. And that was much less interesting. Put it back in the envelope.
It's clearly pretty mangled, but I will say it doesn't look as though anyone tried to sneak it out. As though it was just ripped to pieces.
Well, okay. So,
At least there are some friends nearby.
I'm not entirely sure I would consider these people friends. Lieutenant Carter has finished cleaning their gun, has put it back, it is now leaning against a tree, smoking. just curl of smoke up past their face.
That would be my assessment also. I do think we should get out of here, though. We don't have any other options in the camp, and I confess the idea of a temporal guardian being a threat, I'm not quite sure what that means, and I really would like to find out.
I agree with Minnie. Dr. Sam, I've taken too many deep breaths and I feel lightheaded. What do I do now?
Oh, in that case, take some short, shallow breaths for a while. See if that helps.
No, don't. If he passes out, none of us can carry him.
Well, I think the idea is to just, find a happy medium.
I'll toggle between the two as we pack down the supplies.
There you go.
Unless anyone objects, I might put the body of Arturo atop Charlie, and then I guess we get ready to go.
I don't know we can do a lot for the good doctor. It's,
We can find a place for him to rest at least.
Well, he does prove that we were attacked since his head is gone.
Yes.
It's proof of our ambush, I suppose.
Plus, maybe we can arrange for the body to be returned back. What about the Bolivian soldiers? Or do they have anything on them? Anything interesting? Has anyone searched them?
Oh, good idea.
I'll have a look over
The
the ones that I summarily returned the favor.
I'm imagining you sort of like keeping the cigarette and just like
No.
pushing a boot into one and sort of like rolling it over.
There's no hanging out of mouth thing. That's not classy enough. It's dropped on the ground under the heel, and then he walks over. They walk over and like crouch down to start looking over the bodies. Very much from a what weapons do they have on them? What is the make of the guns? Does this actually appear to be standard military issued equipment, or is this people like pretending to be military? What's the go here?
Any weapons I find, I'm just going to pass straight to the lieutenant. I am looking for secrets. I'm looking for weird shit.
Okay. So the two of you, Dr. Sam and Smith, are you joining? Hubert, are you like loading up the body onto Charlie and beginning to sort of rally mules and get things underway, or?
Yeah, I think I'm a little squeamish around dead bodies actually, so I'm probably going to stay a little bit away. I'll get everything ready. I'm also, as a keen hiker, training navigation and survival, things like that. So I think I'm probably trying to look at the map, figure out how we get to the camp, that sort of thing.
Fuck yeah. Dr. Taylor Thompson?
I mean, here's a question. I've taken the pulp talent Animal Companion.
Fuck yeah, what does that do?
Which affords me, I start the game with a faithful animal companion, and I gain a bonus die on making animal handling rolls. How pulpy is this animal companion?
Fairly.
Can I like call him down and go like, what's in the nearby? Can I look in his eyes and know what he knows?
I think probably not. I think there's like a vibe. I think you guys do kind of share a kindred spirit, as though you were reborn as a falcon. It's got limits, but yeah, absolutely, you can kind of get a read from it. Actually, I kind of pass this to you. What is it? Is it just a knowing look shared between the two of you, or is it like once the bird returns, you kind of just give everyone a little update on the surrounding that they weren't expecting?
What I know about Sam. It's a vibes thing.
It's just a vibes thing. It's just are there good vibes in the immediate vicinity?
Is everything good up there, or what's up? Hey man, can I offer you some nuts or a cracker? Amazing.
Do you want to play Dr. Sam? I'll
Sorry,
run the rest of the campaign if you want to play Dr. Sam. That's fine.
Sorry, I just love him
job.
so much.
Yes, I call down my New Zealand Falcon, Lancet.
Yeah! I was so pleased.
The bird alights on your open arm and sort of hops forward, looking down at you. As you look into it, you get the impression that since it has returned, you believe there are no more threats in the immediate area. It would not have realighted while the fighting continued. And you'll also get the impression that, given it had scrounged some bits and pieces or something, that the jungle ends not too far along, and there will be an opening. You're not far from the aid camp. When it returns, it's carrying like a strip of fabric or something. It's not too far away. I imagine you're also probably pretty good with the mules and things.
You would think so. I forgot about that bonus tie to animal handling, and I did not give myself any animal handling. So what's base animal handling?
20 magic, something like that. I can check.
It's not the character sheet. Whatever it is, I'll get a bonus die.
Either way, we'll assume you're kind of good with animals, even when you don't need to make a roll. Like, you have a calming presence on them, and they can just begin to sort of, like, chill out a little bit.
It's 5, but I got a bonus die, so...
We'll just kind of assume you have, like, a calming presence, but once that wears out, you're kind of out of luck.
Yep.
Yeah, it is 5. Okay,
that's
well,
my
you got a
character
bonus
sheet
dice
anyway.
so you can begin to sort of calm them. So Hubert and Dr. Sam begin to calm the animals and lay out the supplies. Now, Dr. Orsini did have his own equipment that was coming with him. Amongst it, again, is the portable radio, but also just some things like clothes, more medical equipment, personal effects, things like that. You load everything up and can sort of like wrap the body in the jacket and stow it so that it can be buried later. As Minnie and Lieutenant Carter go through the bodies, you'll find that each of them was carrying a shotgun. Which can be taken. It does appear to be pretty standard issue. They also each have holstered sheathed a large and fairly nasty looking machete for cutting through jungle or foes alike. But beyond that, very little. Notably, they have no personal effects, and their pockets are kind of like they've been emptied. There's nothing inside them, not even like a cigarette packet crunched up and pushed inside. Additionally, as you crouch down, there's kind of like a bit of a rank smell beyond your standard corpse stench. You get the impression they haven't been bathing for quite some time, and there's sort of like grime under. These are definitely not like up at 5, make your beds, military. You know, like they've been really letting themselves go, and like their hair's long and kind of matted and stained. Their boots are absolutely caked with mud, and as you sort of like, you think they might have something hidden in underneath one of the soles, meaning you pull one of the boots back and their feet are blistered and bloody, as though they've been marching miles and miles and miles without break and without opportunity to go through like basic first aid. Beyond that, though, there is nothing hidden on their persons.
I'll turn around and go, Sam, do you mind having a look at this one?
Yeah. What seems to be the problem? He's, dead?
He is in fact dead. I wanted your opinion as a medical professional on this particular individual. They seem, they don't seem very well taken care of for a military platoon, and, is that standard for walking? I mean, we both know what trench foot looks like, but, is that what we're looking at here? Are we looking at people who are malnourished? I want to get a vibe of what physical health these people were in, to give us potentially an idea of what physical health the rest of the camp is likely to be in.
I can try to get you a vibe. No worries.
I will say, it's a bit different from Cairo.
I will... Is that a medicine roll?
Yeah, I think I need medicine.
I think it's a medicine roll. There it is.
Well done. So as Hubert returns, everything's been stowed and you're ready to go. Dr. Sam crouches down and does a little vibe check on the corpses. I'll be honest, opening vibes, not great, very much dead. Looking at the feet and just hands and nails and things as well, these are like, they've been driven pretty hard. They're probably marching miles every day. You can see, like water's gotten in under their like into their socks and has begun to sort of like, decay their feet a little bit. And there's definitely a stench about them. They are not being maintained. Any good leader would not be allowing them to get into this state and driving them this hard. It risks, like, these people are beginning to fall apart kind of as they keep marching forward. They are in a fairly poor condition. This is not standard. If there's anything specific you want to know, you have a pretty good read on them now. So if there's any questions you have.
Yeah,
either the war is going worse than we thought, or there's something very wrong with this unit.
Someone was planning to drive them hard and put them away wet, I reckon.
It's quite counterproductive, and the armies in this region are not necessarily known for carelessly discarding their soldiers in such a manner.
You'd think that, Miss Sinclair. You would hope that was the case. Well, and I'll stand up and brush myself down. Let's get everything packed up and make our way to the camp, shall we? We have not too much more light.
Oh, I am not spending another night in this jungle. Let's go.
Okay.
Mr. Smith.
I think that in the meantime, as everyone comes back towards me, I've packed up all of the mules. I've gotten everything ready. I'd like to have a brief moment where I've come to my mule Charlie now at the front. And I'm very good today. Did very well defending us. And I will reach into my still bloodstained jacket and pull out a nice shiny apple, give him a big slobbery bite. Then I will take a big slobbery bite. He can have another one. And then we'll have a second apple.
There is an absolute point as we're like leaving. I'll turn around and be like, Mr. Smith, if you make us late, I will return the favor. Let's move.
Okay. Come on, Charlie. And I'll follow along.
Amazing.
Because as the only military officer, yes, I'm going to start being like, we're doing this.
Hell yes.
Might be a terrible idea, not my problem.
Someone's
We're
gonna
going to do it properly, and we're going to do it now.
We are going to the camp to see it because there is no point in going wandering off into the jungle, and then we can give this letter and leave.
Amazing. So, with the corpses left on the side of the road, with Dr. Assini's body thrown across, carefully placed across one of the mules, the procession picks up the trail once more and continues to wind northeast towards the aid camp. You are a, sort of short line of people and donkeys laden heavy with equipment and bags and strange vehicles and things. And as you finally come out of the jungle, you see a small village laid out in sort of like a scrubland area with a river that winds just beyond it. There are a number of stone houses here, although a significant portion of them look as though they have been destroyed, not fallen apart with age, like destroyed, possibly in the conflict previously. There are people winding between them, the local villagers, and there are also set up like tents for the aid camp. They will have slathered a big red cross on top of them, and you can see nurses and doctors moving back and forth in sort of white uniforms, and there's crates of supplies stacked up. They seem reasonably well provisioned. At a clear look, you can see that there's an aid tent, there's showers that have been set up, and there's some more tents where people can sleep and survive out here in the jungle. Now, on the other side of camp, towards the outskirts, along the edge, there are a number of what look like military tents. These ones are dark green, like the same fatigues that the soldiers you just killed were wearing. And you can see standing around them, there are only 2 visible soldiers. They're actually not standing. They're seated on little stools, just kind of gazing out towards the aid camp and the people inside. You guys are up on like a little hill looking down at everything. I pass it back to you.
Were we expecting there to be a military presence? Like,
Nope.
is the... Oh, okay.
In theory,
And
the fighting's moved on.
Oh.
Right.
There
And
was
do we
a
know-
conflict here not long ago. So there was a conflict here. It'd be about 6 months ago. Oh, sorry, no, it'd be shorter than that. It'd be like 3 months ago. There was a fight. This aid camp was set up, and then very suddenly, you guys were like sent from Caduceus. You guys like arrived to work one day, and they were like, "So road trip, pack your shit, get on the bus," and you were sent off quick smart. That was probably like 4 days ago. Very recent that you were actually fired across. I don't know how long travel works, so maybe longer than that, but pretty quick
we-
sticks.
So
Are
you're
we
saying
aware-
we get the impression that the people here are not the people we were going to meet?
The aid camp looks correct.
Oh, okay.
The soldier presence is a surprise.
Gotcha.
Well,
There are
I'm
only
not
2
sure I like
soldiers
that
at the
very much.
moment, so it looks like not much.
I see no reason to vary from the course. If they make any problems for us, we can make it clear that we are part of a humanitarian organization and not here to do any kind of fighting. But if they decide to make any kind of issue for us, well... And I just sort of like... There is a definite air of like, I have a lot of weapons on me. So, stick by me.
Okay, well, I suppose we head straight up then. One of us will have to do the talking. Does anyone want to volunteer?
I'm perfectly
Yeah.
capable of being eloquent when necessary.
Okay, good. I'll stay at the back then. I'm very covered in blood, so maybe best.
Oh, Hubert. And
So is
Minnie's
Lieutenant
going to
Carter.
take she's going to fish like a handkerchief or take off take off her silk scarf and start kind of dabbing at the blood.
Thank you.
This is the first sort of conflict thing we've seen, isn't it, dear?
Yes, yeah, well, me and my mother would get into arguments very frequently over dinner, but nothing like this.
Did those arguments involve guns?
One crisp. Never mind. No, this is
Nice.
Lieutenant Carter's absolutely like gotten a water skin and something and at least cleaned it off their face. It's obviously on their clothes, but they've tidied themselves
You guys
up.
brought clothes for several days. If you wanted to, you kind of scurried into new uniforms and clothing in the
Probably
intervening.
not in the middle of the jungle.
No,
Dealer's choice.
I have far more mud on me than blood, and
Yes.
Minnie doesn't appear to notice. Like, she adjusts her glasses and, like, in the process, just smears mud up the side of her face. She's like trying to like flatten her hair down and put herself back together, and he's making it so much worse.
There's one crawly thing that was in the log
Yeah.
that's just perched up on the top now and
yeah.
sort of looking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will
Hubert.
have changed. I think I've only got the one jacket, but I will have at least like changed. Actually, I wear a fair amount of dark colors and black for the obvious reasons of doesn't show as much blood. So honestly, probably clean it off myself and then go. Gonna try and get as much of it off the jacket as possible, but we'll just be like, this needs whatever the 1930s equivalent of dry cleaning is in the middle of a jungle.
Right.
And then I'm going to walk kind of confidently directly towards the aid camp.
Okay.
Yes. Now, the soldiers are the soldiers in the same uniforms as the ones who attacked us.
They do appear to be, yes, and they seem to be just sort of sitting listlessly. Only the two of them, but there are enough tents to support maybe 20. But they don't appear to be anyone inside them. A couple of them are open, and the flaps, body. You can also see one of them's like half collapsed as well. Like they are not upkeeping their section very well. This is not any sort of military that you've encountered before. So heading down into the aid camp. You lead the Dr. Sam sort of directs the mules, and they just seem to sort of look at him, and then they're just happy to follow him like ducklings following a mother duck, as all the mules just trot after him in procession. Each one laden down by supplies and etc. So as you come inside, a couple of the villagers sort of step up and move out of the way. Most of them here will speak the local dialect, which I didn't write down, but a few do speak Spanish, which I believe, Minnie, you speak. Does anyone else speak Spanish?
That would have been really useful, wouldn't it? That would have been a really, really good skill to have, and I do not have any other language.
That's also possibly why, part of why Minnie was brought, is now you have someone who does speak it.
I don't speak Spanish. I do have an intelligence of 90. Is there a chance I've picked up some basics?
All that I've been teaching over the last 4 days, the lieutenant has been specifically asking, how do you say this particular thing?
There's like a few. It's
have a
less
couple,
I understand and more like.
preloaded.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have like, hola, me llamo Carter. Like you have some very basic
Yeah, I
introduction
feel,
things.
like, I feel like the lieutenant's
where-
saying things like,
Also,
freeze, put your hands up and drop your weapons.
that kind of stuff. And then like also I feel if there's a way of me being able to at least infer tone and intent from the sound of the words, that kind of thing.
You can
I'm going
absolutely
to
get
kill
into
you.
that. But you don't speak the language
No.
to say.
Run or
Trying to find
die.
So you'll hear a couple of them as
Run
they're moving
and
away.
die.
Minnie, you just hear people like just talking to myself. You'll hear like aid, or the word for like people here
Medicine.
to assist. You also hear a general sort of oh look, there's more of them. Not in a bad way, just kind of like a statement as and they do seem a bit suspicious of newcomers. For the nurses and the doctors in the staff, a few of them move away, but one bloke approaches you. A nurse called Sergio. He has a scar up one cheek, and he's nursing a 5 o'clock shadow. He's wearing like nurses scrubs, or they're probably more military-ish, sort of heavier duty, and he's rolled them all up given the heat of the jungle. As he comes towards you, he's rolling off gloves, and he steps forward. He introduces himself. He says, hello, my name is Sergio Lorenzi. I'm one of the nurses with the aid camp. Would you mind introducing yourselves and explaining what you're doing here?
We are here on behalf of the Caduceus Foundation. What are they called? Caduceus
Caduceus, yeah, Foundation.
Yeah, just Caduceus.
Foundation, yeah. Well, on behalf of Caduceus, to assist the aid, we are meant to be meeting with a Mr. Gomez, Dr. Gomez?
Dr. Gomez.
Dr. Gomez.
I can take you to Dr. Gomez. Understand we're pretty fine here on aid. I notice you carry weapons, though. If you can chase those damn soldiers off, we'll appreciate it.
Oh, well, we were going to ask about those, actually. What are we doing here?
They arrived a few weeks ago. They stationed across the river for a time, but then they came in here, started making use of the facilities we've set up to help the locals, and started making demands ever increasingly. Only 2 days ago, they destroyed our camp radio in what I can only presume was a drunken brawl gone wrong, and they spend most of the day wandering the surrounding region and stumble back at night to sleep. We see little of them, but they're a menacing presence, and I don't like having them here. Additionally, if the Paraguayans get sense that there's a Bolivian contingent or platoon or whatever the hell the military call it here, we risk the fight kicking off again, and now everyone's in trouble. We just chase them off.
How
Tell
many
them to
of
go
them are
somewhere
there?
else. 12, 15.
Right. How many of your people are trained in the use of weapons?
It's
None.
an aid camp.
None of you.
None that are
You
going to
have
be willing
no
to fight.
security whatsoever.
Normally the cross tells them what we're about. We don't need security. They know that we're here to help. That's a risk we take. I personally am ethically opposed to carrying a weapon, and I won't do it. Even if I could fire a gun, I would choose not to. And many here share my beliefs.
We understand. This is a place of healing and a place of aid, and warm bodies who can fire guns are usually not permitted to assist in that way. They're sent to the front. It stands to reason. We understand. Have they been? We're not necessarily here for aid or for combat as such. We do need to speak to Dr. Gomez, but just before we do that, what else is on that side of the river?
Well, that's the war zone. That's where the fighting took place. There was artillery shelling. It was a damn disaster. The whole place is still scoured with bodies. In time, we intend to organize people to go through and gather the corpses and give them a proper Christian burial, but we haven't had the opportunity so far. And also with those soldiers sprawling around the area, we're not real prone to going in.
Do you know of any perhaps just important historical cultural landmarks in the region?
Cultural, I don't know. If you ask some of the villagers, they might have some insight. I know they're preparing for something coming up, a minor cultural event they carry out yearly. You'd have to speak to them, though.
Right, thank you so much. Would you be able to direct us towards Dr. Gomez?
Yes, I was heading that way myself. Why don't you follow me? And he begins to lead you through the camp.
A quick question.
Minnie's just going to start writing notes about like a cultural event and start trying to kind of see if she's read anything about this. What is cultural event?
I understand you're morally opposed to carrying a gun and shooting people. Are you morally opposed to someone else doing the shooting for you?
Look, we'd prefer if they were just chased off. So far, no one's been hurt, but they're a threatening presence, and I don't like how they carry themselves.
Look, they did happen to find us when we were on our way here. They found us before we found them, so it didn't end too well for some of them.
You were attacked?
In a
Yeah.
manner of speaking.
I'm kind of just going to gesture to those of us just covered in blood.
Well, that's bloody bold of them. They're
we
getting
thought.
more... If they're going to start attacking people, they need to be driven out as soon as possible. This is only going to get worse. Look, I don't... Talk to Dr. Gomez. At the end of the day, this is way above my pay grade. I'm just here to help people. But take it from me and take it from the other nurses and most of the people here being helped. If you can get rid of them by whatever means necessary, it'd be appreciated. I don't know if Dr. Gomez is going to share that, but that's the common sentiment. And with that, you're led towards a sort of central building that's being set up as a kind of an ad hoc. Well, not ad hoc. It's intended to be a leadership point, somewhere where they can store information and have meetings. Inside the tent, it's a bit cooler than outside. There's a couple of tables gathered around and canvas walls separated into different rooms. There's a sort of a couple of cots that have been kind of like cushions put on them, so now they're couches. And you see there are two figures seated behind a chair. The first is Dr. Rafael Gomez. He is an older man with thinning hair and large round glasses. He is going over a number of notes, and he seems to carry himself with confidence as he remarks upon a particularly difficult surgery coming across. You get the sense that he is very talented at what he does. He definitely says that the palate above the noggin will be removed, and then we will slice the thing beneath it. He seems quite capable.
Palace above the noggin.
You're familiar, Dr. Sam, I see.
Yes,
the
yes, very
noggin.
much so.
The other figure in the room is Dr. Anahi Salvatorelli. And she is smoking hot. She is basically a blonde bombshell seated across from Dr. Gomez. You can see that she's trying to pass herself as, like here and sorry, she's tried to dress down for the circumstances, and she is wearing the same outfit as Dr. Gomez, but something about how she carries herself. Hubert, you recognize this as a woman of great wealth and significance. You don't know her name specifically, but just the way she carries herself. She sits politely at the thing. She has a couple of, what look like discreet and simple jewelry, but it's still probably worth more than most of the everything else in the room.
Say no more. We're kindred spirits. I'm a bombshell as well. I was blonde when I had hair. Perfect.
As you come inside, Dr. Salvatorelli steps up and sees everyone coming in. Dr. Gomez just glances up and then returns to his notes. She strides across and will say, "Thank you, Sergio, so much. You can leave now and we'll find time to talk to you later. First, I'd like to meet your new friends. Hi, I'm Dr. Anahi Salvatorelli, and I'm one of the doctors here at the camp. May I ask your names?"
Hello, I'm Hubert Smith. Nice to meet you, and thank you for letting us into your camp.
An absolute pleasure, and we're very grateful to have you here.
Dr. Samuel Taylor Thompson, but everyone just calls me Dr. Sam, so I guess you can too.
Charming to meet you, Dr. Sam. I love your mustache.
Oh, thank you very much. I was just trying it out, and I think it's going to stick.
Oh, it suits you very much. She turns to Lieutenant Carter and Minnie.
Wilhelmina St. Clair. Very distracted looking around. I assume there's books here because there's a doctor. Yeah, just quite distracted. Wilhelmina St. Clair, at your service.
And you sort of look about. She tries to engage with you a little, but you're sort of taken in by the books. It's a bit basic, but then most of them seem to be medical tomes, as well as there will be ledgers on like events happening. But yeah, if a book's
ledgers.
a book. And lastly, Lieutenant Carter. This is Dr. Anahi Salvatorelli, one of the doctors in the camp.
And she's hot.
So hot.
Lieutenant Carter. Delighted, I'm sure.
Absolute pleasure to meet you, and so comforting to know that we have a soldier in our midst.
I detect a hint of sarcasm, but I don't
Not
take
at
it
all.
personally.
We already have had soldiers here, and now it's maybe these are the scales evening. Dr. Gomez waves his hands. He goes, No, there'll be no fighting. As I've said before, they're here for a little while. They'll leave when they tire of it or when they find whatever they're searching for. Just let them be.
Well,
What can I do for the four of you?
Nudge
I
Minnie, who has the letter.
I believe you were expecting us with a guide.
Expecting?
And I'm going to hand over the letter that I stomped on, that is covered in blood and now mud. And I'm going to hand that one over. This is addressed to you, but I would like it known that the other individual mentioned within it, Dr. Arturo, I believe.
Lost his head.
Lost his head.
Dr. Orsini, I'm familiar with the man. We've done work with him before. And you're from
Yes.
Caduceus.
Yes, we're the contingent from Caduceus. We have Arturo with us, Dr. Arturo. We have him with us. He's just well, when you say that there will be no fighting, oh dear.
The
They're
fighting
not
found
quite
us.
following the same rules, we're afraid.
You've been attacked?
Yes, I don't know if anybody has informed them of that. Yes, we were attacked. Hubert here was, the poor man was shot.
Yes, I was shot.
Would you like to see a doctor?
we have
Dr.
one.
Sam took care of me, I think. Didn't you, Dr. Sam?
Oh yeah, just patched him up a bit and got back in his feet without too much trouble. So I think it's all right, but I really don't want it to happen again, hey?
I do feel like your entire camp doesn't quite understand the concept of war.
We are a humanitarian station. They understand that, and they won't attack us. They risk an international crisis. This would draw more attention to the conflict, and it wouldn't be favorable to them. Any assistance they got might be rendered null. Now, they understand that as well as we do. They'll leave us to our work, and they have so far. Sure, there's been some minor kerfuffles. The radio station, for one, and I understand one of our nurses had a bit of a fright, but this will all blow over in time. Now listen, I wasn't informed of your approach. We haven't heard anything from you, but we've been grateful for Caduceus's work in the past. We've received funds from you, and we've had nurses and staff that have volunteered through you in previous events. So consider the camp yours. You're free to stay here as long as you wish, and if you're able to assist with the medical requirements, then all the more to it. That said, we have it largely in hand. Truth be told, you're just not needed.
Oh, our work is not to do with the aid camp. We thank you for your hospitality, of course, and we'll absolutely take you up on that. It's rather rough out there, but no, we will not be interfering with your work here. We can assure you of that. We have our own work in the vicinity.
Have we handed over the
As the letter does state.
Looks it over again and says, important work. Well, fine. Carry it out as you please. Just try not to draw any more attention to us and try not to start any more fights. And he passes it back to you.
Yeah.
Listen, I just want to quickly jump in and say that I really admire what you're doing here. And I think that with all these, it's the heightened tensions, we there's a little bit of we're all friends is the point. And I just want to say that thank you for, I'd like to roll a charm check here, if that's all right. I just want to kind of, look, we're all on the same side. It's all right. It's all good. Settle down tempers a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead and make a charm roll.
That is a hard success. I can make it an extreme if you should like.
No, that's more than enough. Whatever tension was building is dispersed. You get the clear sense that Dr. Gomez doesn't see the soldiers as a particular threat, although a recent gunfight suggests that there is one. He seems very tied to his work, very dedicated to it, and seems to just prioritize that above anything else, particularly if it would draw attention to the area. Dr. Nahi, on the other hand, is very excited about your presence, and as you finish speaking, she'll sort of lay a hand on your shoulder, already indicating that you are quite good friends, and nod along with you and say, yes, all good friends here, and we look forward to any work we can have. If you need anything, you only have to ask. We'll do whatever we can in our power to help you on your important mission.
Perfect.
I do want to make one thing very clear. I'm not here to start fights. None of us are here to start fights. But if one does start, I will finish it.
Dr. Gomez.
So long as that is made known.
Gomez nods because you'll find no fighting here. It's a peace camp, and we intend to keep it that way.
Does this peace camp have baths?
Yes, there are showers set up, and you are free to make use of them.
Okay, fantastic. May we be excused then? I would like to take a shower.
Yes, please. Dr. Salvatorelli, why don't you show them to some quarters where they can set up their equipment and see to their important work? She nods.
If there is a doctor we probably don't need a doctor for this anymore, I suppose. We have Ursini with us, and he needs a place to rest.
Say no more. He was a good man, and he's helped us in the past. We'll see that he's buried, and we'll make sure it's done properly.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Dr. Salvatorelli she'll step up, and she'll lead you out of the tent and into the aid camp proper. She will point you towards showers, which have been set up impromptu. they're like, temporary structures, but they look serviceable and quite comfortable. And she'll also show you to a tent where you can, there'll be 4 cots with a divider that you can, divide yourself amongst on the 2 sides, and trunks for you to store equipment in. She will say there's no locks or anything, and the doors can be closed from the inside, but it's just a zipper. So if you have anything valuable, I'd encourage you to keep it close.
To pat my books very kind of self-consciously.
Once she's departed and we can sort of step inside and have a moment to ourselves to chat and plan, I'll take off my bloody outer coat. Or still like a buttoned up shirt. And I think I go over to one of the cots, which is sort of picture of those little kind of like metal table things that they would roll in. And I kind of stops at the bottom of my back and starts at the bottom of my shoulders, but I'll go, and lie on top of one, groans under my weight as I kind of just relax for a second, catch my bearings.
I'm going to try and catch the doctor before she leaves. Just gentle touch on the arm when she's leaving. Doctor,
You can catch her just outside the tent as you sort of head out after her.
If I were perhaps interested in speaking to some of the villagers, where might I find those who might be best conditioned to speak to? I don't want to bother anybody who is obviously recovering, but if there's somebody I could speak to, that would be wonderful.
Oh, not at all. I can see you have a keen eye and value history above other things. Listen, there is a man, Giorgio, he calls himself. I don't know his surname, but he seems to be something of a local leader. They look to him for the coming festival, and I think he has something of a way with words. He speaks Spanish as well, and some
good.
English.
Oh, fantastic! And is he in the aid camp itself, or will I need to find him in the village? Or
you'll find him at night. The aid camp is set up within the village. He says he travels a lot during the day, but he'll be back by night. You'll be able to identify him. He has quite the scar across his face.
Oh, wonderful! I will seek him out. Thank you so much.
Not an issue. It has been an absolute pleasure. And she turns and heads back towards Dr. Gomez.
I am extremely self-conscious of my hair.
Hers is flawless,
perfect.
despite everything.
I don't trust anyone that nice.
Here's the thing, Dave.
Yeah, mate.
What were we told about this mission? Because we've just opened this letter and found it's all about going to a temple. And getting mum. Did we know about that before we got here?
No,
I think we were just told to go.
You were told you are going here to help out the aid camp. You're like, it's a dangerous area, so Lieutenant Carter will be there for support. Dr. Sam, you'll give medical expertise. Minnie, you speak the language of the area, and Mr. Smith, well, you're just a lovely bloke. You should help along as well.
He just has a lot of money.
Exactly, he's here to tour. So you were sent to help the camp specifically, and then these appear to be like the nested orders. Now you've each done work for Caduceus in the past, and the former is the usual. You've been sent to places to like help out. It seems you've kind of been cherry picked for this one from different groups, and put together for this in particular. Yeah. In the past, there's been no temples or anything. It's just been kind of helping people out.
We'll come back in and just say, this is very odd, right? It's not just me. This is quite odd.
It's a bit strange.
Holding the letter.
I mean, I don't know if anyone around here would take too kindly if we're going to be breaking into temples and stealing mummies.
It's certainly not what I prefer to be doing at all. I wish there was a way for us to communicate with Shapiro and speak to the organization, because this is certainly not what I signed up for.
What's worth, there is. The radio camp here has been destroyed, but you are carrying a portable one with you. It would need to be set up, and it has a limited range, but you might be able to get it in. You might be able to get in touch with Quentin.
We know that Caduceus does a lot of good work. The aid camp here said so much. I mean,
right? It can't be all bad if it's via Caduceus, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so. So if they've built up that goodwill already, it might not be a bad idea if we're upfront about why we're here, right?
I think we should ask a few questions and just see what we can find out first, because I get the feeling this camp is a little bit on edge to begin with, and I don't know if dumping any more fuel on this fire is going to serve anybody, not just us. But I agree. I don't like lying, and I certainly don't want to steal a mummy and take it to New York. That's ridiculous. How do we take a mummy to New York anyway? It's not going to fit in the overhand. It's just roll it up, and I'm not going to. I mean, I'm not putting it in any of my bags.
Logistics aside for a minute, I presume we can find a way. But I think that, I mean, really, we need to get the radio up. We need to get in contact. We need to speak to some people about the temple.
I have some questions I'd like to ask of the locals. Because yes. All of this said, I do confess I am quite curious.
So we need to set the radio up. We need to talk to the locals. And I would like to go and offer those soldiers a lot of money to leave. I feel like that could be a simple way of, getting things done.
I have my doubts for various reasons, but I'd like to see you try, and I would very much enjoy the experience of seeing how that goes.
That's what
I'm going to shower.
I'm going to take off the jacket and the sort of skivvy, and just wash the parts of me that were covered in blood. So there is. This is just for chat. Carter singlet dancer's physique, this individual this fucking ripped. Yeah, so just the singlet, the dog tags, the pants, belt, jacket, but washing, very very ripped.
Do go on.
And is will then once we reconvene is going to be in that but just smoking.
Doing you got the towel around, doing the little towel pat.
Probably not that, no, because it's just hot. So they're just in a singlet, and they've still got their boots and their everything. But they are comfortably smoking. Probably the hair's a bit wet.
Oh yeah,
just a little, it's slicked back a little bit more and slightly damp. They again very aware of how they look at every point in time. But yeah,
zero awareness of how she looks at any point in time.
So what's everyone want to do for it's sort of afternoon, heading towards evening. The sun will set in a few hours. So you basically, have the evening to do something, and then it'll be heading into night.
I'll unhitch my crates from the mules and begin assembling the contents.
What do we say?
Oh, well now, after unhitching several crates from the mules, there's various kind of mechanical bits and pieces come out. A couple of wheels, two seats, a large propeller, and a folded up hang glider. And over the coming hour or so, Dr. Sam assembles his homemade ultra-light aerial trike.
Hell yeah. People gather around as you're doing it and just look watching what you're doing with curiosity and confusion and then amazement as it begins to click together. It is a fairly arcane looking vehicle, but it's pretty impressive in its design.
Flying machine.
It's definitely Carter standing outside smoking, just looking at this going, no, it's come a long way, Sam. I'm impressed.
Oh, no, not really. Just do a couple of little improvements here and there. Every time it comes out, learn a few more things, put a few more bells and whistles on. It's coming along pretty well.
My goodness, you added the other propeller.
Yeah. I can now go
as Minnie comes back from the crappy showers. It's slightly more put together. Still quite a little bit of a drowned rat look going on.
I would like to fly it one day if you ever do figure out getting it, able to support my frame.
Yeah. I was going to say the weight capacity is still under careful experimentation, but we'll get there.
Oh, you're going to have to show me how to fly it one day.
Oh, yeah, that's a promise. It's done.
Well,
I'd be careful of making those kind of requests, Miss Sinclair. The good doctor is quite enthusiastic about this particular device.
Oh, well, I've been told I'm quite enthusiastic about everything, so...
That you are.
We have our 3 goals. Radio, talk to the locals, and I'm going to try and pay the soldiers to leave.
I would also like to... I'm going to ask around about that nurse who got a bit of a fright. Because if that is separate to the soldiers rolling in and the soldiers we saw were quite frightful in their own way, I'd like to know what that fright was. So I might seek out our friend Sergio, the nurse, and see if perhaps I can hear that story.
Okay.
That's
Sam,
the division.
You're particularly good at mechanics, aren't you?
Mm-hmm,
Tinkering and like. Do you feel confident you can get this radio up and going?
Oh, I'll give it a red hot go, hey?
Okay. So
Well, that
I forgot about that. Well, is that more electrical repair?
It'll be electrical repair. Well, you have
Oh,
the
shoot.
head for it. It'll get you in the. It will be electrical if it's busted. So the actual radio room has been destroyed, but you guys have the portable one. Just operating it should in theory it should just work. But so who's doing what? What's the division? Where's everyone heading? Hubert, do you just go charging off towards the 2 station soldiers?
Yeah.
Yep, I think so.
I would probably go with Hubert with the intention that on the way back I'll have a chat to a nurse if I can, and then by then hopefully it'll be in the evening and I can look for Giorgio.
That works well. So Hubert and Minnie are going to head across to the soldiers and then see if they can talk to anyone else. Lieutenant Carter and Dr. Sam, can I presume you're going to work on the radio and then head on from there?
no, you may not presume.
In that case, Dr. Sam on the radio. Lieutenant Carter, what do you want to do?
I'll certainly try.
Like tousles back of hair with towel, puts towel down and goes, on the off chance the money and the babbling don't work, and we'll just come out with the other two to where they're going, because I feel like backup may be required. If you're going to go and deal with the military, it seems very stupid that I don't go
Yeah.
deal with the military.
That probably
So
makes
I will
sense.
attend to the other two.
All right, in that case, Dr. Sam, firstly you. So after you get this amazing contraption set up, you step away and unpack the radio. It comes with very clear instructions of how to assemble and operate it, and you begin to piece it together seated inside the tent. As you turn it on, you tune it to the channels you were told to get in contact with Quentin, and there's crackling static. What's the message that you send first?
Oh, this is Dr. Sam, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is me, yeah?
Yeah.
Hello?
There's a pause and there's a crack, and then you hear.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about what I thought. All right, let's open this up again and see what makes it tick.
Can you go ahead and give me an electrical repair roll just to get a sense of it? You champion! It's not an
Alright,
issue
then.
with it. It's range. If you get it up somewhere high, it'll probably work.
How the hell are we going
Did
to
you
do
get it up
that?
somewhere
Gee, how do
high?
we get up high?
I have an idea.
All right, what do you do?
I'll let everyone know that I'm going to go for a bit of a jaunt around. As long as there's like a long enough of a runway that I can take off and land safely, I'll let everyone know. I reckon we get this, I'll take this up in the air a bit and see if I can get it going.
Hell yeah.
If we're along the side of a river, like the riverbanks are going to be clear, so...
I would imagine exactly that. You can sort of like, you'll be able to run along the river and then take up. So you get the radio seated in the passenger seat and the receiver held so you can operate it with one hand as you don't
shout over the propeller.
text and drive. What? What's it look like as you take this insane contraption to the skies?
I was gonna say majestic, but it's probably not. I mean, this is a pulpy vehicle in that it shouldn't be invented for another 30 years. So I think it's fairly rudimentary and clearly handmade. It works. It has the look of something that's defying the laws of physics. Like, it should not be taken to the air, but it does.
I love the idea that like it goes overhead while the three of us are walking somewhere else, like that wonderful camera shot of just like wee, and just maybe like a very faint.
So yes, strap myself into the front seat. Probably kick the propeller. Get it going. Strap myself into the front seat. Put the pedal on the floor. Pick up some speed as the wheels start spinning down the runway, and then in theory, if we get enough speed from the wheels and the propeller, then the hang glider up the top should pick up enough lift and get us into the air.
Angle the wings out slightly and begin to, first it's a bump
Airfoils,
as
how
it
do
sort
they
of
work?
pops up, and then again, and then you're coasting along and you're able to pull back on the lever and up to the skies. As you get higher, you begin to cut under clouds and things. There's a little bit of dripping lane, but man, you love to fly. I presume the Falcon lands, it sort of soars
yeah.
alongside
Exactly right.
occasionally and weaving back and forth. And from up here, you get a sense of the terrain. For one, there's the jungle that surrounds the whole region, then there's the river that cuts through it. On the other side of the river, you can see the clear signs of the previous battlefield. There's ruined trucks and things and a number of trees that were completely felled by mortar strikes. Additionally, you will spot 3 different groups. This is over like an hour, like a little while, as you're kind of just cruising around and vibing as well as making the call. You'll spot 3 different groups of soldiers, each organized around a truck, sort of just like basically like driving around the area with no clear intent. Additionally, you'll spot something strange that would be almost very difficult to find from anywhere else, except the sky. There is a section of ground in the middle of the battlefield where a large black hole exists going down into the ground. It looks almost as though a manhole cover in New York has been pulled back and left to the side. You can also see destroyed stonework around it, as though, you know, a great amount of debris or rubble has been left from something that once covered it. There is also a truck currently parked next to it and a number of soldiers moving around the area.
Do I get the sense that that is a temple, or is that where a temple was until recently?
It looks hole into the ground. There might be a temple underneath, possibly. It doesn't look particularly royal or grand. It looks like a hole going down into the ground, but it looks important. As this happens, you've sent across another like hello, and this time you get back a much clearer. Yes, we read you. This is Quentin. Am I speaking to Dr. Sam? Over.
Yeah, it's me. Listen, the radio is all busted up from the fighting here in the camp a little while ago, but I can hear you all right when I'm up in the air.
Good. What can we do for you, Dr. Sam? You've arrived safely? Everything's well?
Well, yeah. Most of us have. I'm afraid Dr. Arturo didn't make it. There's military activity in the area, and it found us before we found it. So, well, it's 4 out of 5 of us. That's not bad.
You hear, damn it to hell. He was a good leader and a good man. Back to the grave. He was one of our best.
He was.
Well,
he
you
was.
ensure he gets a burial, Dr. Sam. You ensure he knows he earned that. He earned his rest.
Yep. It's all taken care of. The doctors here at the camp, well, they're welcoming enough. They're not too pleased that the fighting's found them either. So we're doing our best to make it clear we're here to help.
Well, listen, Doctor, how much did Orsini tell you before he passed? Are you aware that your orders go beyond simple assistance?
Yeah, we did find the note, and we're a bit concerned, a bit confused. We're wondering about how open we should be with the locals, because we don't really want to be breaking into ancient temples and stealing bodies unless we can say we got a really good reason for it, eh?
Well, listen, there's a good reason for it. Pay no heed. Listen, as you've begun to put together, Caduceus does more than just humanitarian aid. We have teams spread all across the globe that assess threats to humanity and deal with them comprehensively. Congratulations, Dr. Sam, you're a part of one such team. The location you're in was hit by an artillery shell not long ago. It opened a site of interest, something we've been searching for some time. We believe this may lead you to a temple lost for aeons, really, where a sleeping mummy inside needs to be retrieved and brought back. Now, understand, this is dangerous. This could be lethal. But that's why you're with your team. You've been expertly picked. You have all the necessary assets inside, and we have utmost faith in you.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's good to hear and everything, but you're saying that leaving this mummy in this temple is a threat to humanity?
Yes, that's right. It needs to be brought back, studied, and understood. We're the only people capable of doing this.
Yeah, all right. And you think these military folks who moved in, I can see them, they're camped up near the temple as well. They're interested too, I take it.
There's others there on the ground?
Yeah. Some of these soldiers have moved in. I reckon they're the same ones who ran into us on the way here.
God.
They got some trucks riding around and they're camped up right next to the temple as well.
God damn it, this is worse than we feared. There's other agents in the field. Listen, Dr. Sam, I need you to find that temple stat. I need that mummy brought back to Caduceus so we can study it. You have your orders. Call me back if you need assistance. Over.
Yeah, righto. Over and out.
Excellent.
The sun begins to set as you begin to descend back down towards the others. As you're coming back, as you're beginning to lower towards the runway, you spot a couple of soldiers by the jeep. One nudges another and they point up at you. The other one begins to unholster a gun and is looking up, and then you see another figure standing, looking over the two, just holds up a hand indicating to stop. It's a man in a sort of like a flat cap. You can see a scar on one side of his face, and as you finally make the descent, the jeep that he gets into to begin driving back, one of the windows is broken. He seems to stop the attack, and they begin to make their they begin to head out. You head down towards the ground. All right. Beauty. Elsewhere and previous, let's touch in on the others. So you, the three of you, head off across the camp, freshly cleaned and with Hubert. Do you have like a briefcase with bribe money in it, or is it just a stack of cash you're smacking in your hands?
So I think I'm cleaned. I'm in a fresh outfit, and I'm a really nice guy. I'm planning to just walk up to them. I haven't got the bribe money out yet because these things, they are an elegant dance. You don't just come to somebody and slap them with a wad of bills. Oh. You know, you need to and I plan to just. We can make this work. So I would like to go over to the soldiers, and I will start by just trying to engage them in conversation and be really nice. Okay. And I want to say two things. First of all, I don't speak any Spanish. Mm-hmm. And second, I know that this is a bad idea, but Hubert, damn it, he's a naive enthusiast, so he's going in.
So the three of you head across. Hubert at the front, flanked by Carter, looking a little suspiciously around, I imagine, assessing threats as you go. You've got your, you're probably not carrying the rifle openly in camp, but you'd have your pistol holstered and, you know, a knife or similar. Mini just behind as well. As you approach the two soldiers, they are each seated on small wooden chairs, staring kind of slack-jawed out into the middle distance. As you approach them, it takes a while for their eyes to sort of blink and focus on you, and then one of them looks up at you and kind of waits for you to speak. They both remain seated.
Hello, how's the job going today? I will say with a big smile.
One looks at the other and then blinks slowly. As you translate, they look towards you, listen to it, and then go, no, go away, in Spanish.
They would like us to go away.
They didn't seem all that together.
They're not together, no.
Are you all, can you ask him if he's all right?
Yeah.
No, go away. We're busy here. Very busy.
Doing what?
Looks to Minnie to translate. You have to leave. We're keeping watch. We're busy here.
Over what? What are you keeping watch over?
Our camp. This is our place. We need to defend it.
From?
You sorts and other threats, they kind of say it together, pacing it. One of them's mouth's been open enough that drool's kind of pulled into it and dribbles a little bit down his chin into the ground.
Can I make a psychology check? This is utterly like, you know, we've gotten close enough. We knew that there was some bizarre stuff going on based on the you know, I was about to blisters on the foot. They've been driven hard, but this is now beyond even like any kind of. This isn't just exhaustion. Something is up. Is what I would like to determine.
Do you want to make a psychology roll? Lieutenant Airy, Carter, and Minnie, is there anything you want to be doing? Do you want to make a psychology roll similar, or do you have another strategy?
No, I would not. I would like to step backwards slightly.
Okay, you take a step back.
I will step very slightly forwards and in front of Miss Sinclair. And you will, you'll see that there's a, I'll make it as though I've just, put a hand on a hip, but I'll actually, flick the thing on my gun holster.
You know, we have spare boots, we have food, the razor to have a shave, cut your hair, cigarettes, maybe a drink, some rum. Anything we could interest you in?
No, you can't be here. If you stay, he looks to the other who nods. We're going to attack you.
Oh, we should go. We should definitely go. There is a roll I would like to make between the general vibe and the books in my book holster that I have brought with me on my own notebook, a Spanish dictionary, and South American myths, legends, and occultism.
Hell yeah.
Minnie is a librarian of a particular kind. Can I make an occult roll and see if this is lining up with any of the myths and legends that I've been reading about on the trip over?
Yeah, it'll make an occult roll. It'll be hard to get anything just off the cuff, but you could then go and study later. But go ahead and give it a crack.
This is what she does. No. Nope.
Not off the gaze, but you are getting as I said, even with the failed roll from Hubert, they are clearly off. And, instincts would just be their high, on some stolen drugs that they've lifted from the camp or something. That's the more charitable and less mythos-y read.
Yeah.
But you're justified in your suspicions.
It's not necessarily mythos-y. The occult thing is very much, drugs and out-of-body experiences and that kind of thing is more where Minnie's experience lies, is that whole kind of Bachelor of Divinity from King's College.
You haven't seen any of the other people. No one else is mirroring these kind of vibes. The locals seem fine, pretty, completely with it, as do the camp staff.
I will, do you translate that they've just threatened us, right?
Yes, so they've said that they will attack us if we stay. So, and we should just leave rather than starting trouble.
Translate this, please.
Yes.
I'm going to take a step forward. I'm going to lean down to the closest one and say, "You and whose army?"
Oh, please. No, I am not translating that. We are leaving. We're leaving. I'm leaving. I'm going.
I've gotten pretty close to this person. I haven't gotten inches from his face, but I've gotten close enough. Actually, I'll say I won't lean down. Why on earth would I do that? I'll just loom over them and just be like, "You and whose army?" And hopefully from the tone alone, they'll get the vague.
They get the
I'm not
tone.
translating that, Carter. We've got to go.
As you lean down over them, one of them just the one that you're standing
Don't
over
lean.
blinks.
I'll just get closer.
As you loom over them, the one directly in front of you blinks kind of slowly and looks to the other, who pushes themselves out of the chair and there's and reaches for a gun, not far,
No.
and
We do not
picks
need
it
this
up.
right now. Carter. There is an aid camp across the way. People are already injured.
Miss
If we
Sinclair.
don't need to
Miss
start
Sinclair.
something, you said you would not start any fights, but you would finish them. You were provoking one right now. Let's go.
I will take a step back and turn
The
around.
gun
and
is
be
pointed towards you.
I'll just lift my hands up and take a step back.
I would like to be fumbling out my wallet, and I'm just sort of pulling out money and making noise and not really doing anything useful.
They don't seem to be remotely interested in the currency, but again, they seem just kind of generally gormless. It says Slack Jordan, the one has a gun directly leveled at Lieutenant Carter. Are you stepping back and heading away?
Yeah, I'll put my hands up and just take a step back.
And sort of puts the gun back down and slumps into the chair. And they both go to sort of looking out. One of them's got a fly, or a mosquito rather, that's landed just above its eyelid, plunged in, and is drinking. It seems to completely not notice it's there.
This isn't right.
I think we should leave
Go.
these fine people to their important work.
Very well.
guess we dart away.
I'm going to find that nurse.
As you head away...
Just
yeah,
as a point, you may call me Lieutenant, you may call me Sir, and if you're feeling particularly courageous, you could try calling me Mom, but I wouldn't recommend it. I do not answer to Carter.
You don't have to answer me then. I don't require that. And walks off.
If we're left alone, I stay silent for a few seconds and I try to salute. I do it wrong with the wrong hand.
Needs work, but your heart's in the right place.
As this happens, you can only hear the ring of Dr. Sam's flying machine descending from the sky as it hits the runway, and then it skids along. And when you have like the aviator things on too and everything, right? As you come out,
yeah.
Just like
everyone reconvenes.
There's a round of applause from Carter.
Yes.
Just like, very good, Sam. It's getting better each time.
Oh, you're too kind. Too good. It's too much. So we got the radio going. Got in touch with someone. Yeah. Not much else to say really, except there's some unfriendly folks posted up near the temple which we're trying to get to. Well, so it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle, I reckon.
Oh, good.
Dear.
Battles.
It posted near the... but you found where the temple is.
Yeah. And there's a couple of other groups of soldiers, about 3 trucks worth, just in the general area. I'll keep an eye out for that.
There is something not quite right with the soldiers around here, so I do think that if we can encourage them to move on, that would be the safest for everybody around here. But did you speak to anyone? Did you find out why we are supposed to be kidnapping a mummy?
Well, no, they kept that pretty close to their chest, didn't they? Weren't too keen to tell us why, but only that it's a danger for humanity if we keep that mummy where it is.
That's very dramatic.
Humanity. Well,
yeah. I'm a member of humanity. That's the thing.
Yes, Dr. Sam, we all are.
So I suppose it's the right thing to do, eh?
I think we've seen Caduceus try to work with aid organizations. At this stage, I think our best bet is to trust them. We can always make sure that this was right once we're back here safely. But if hesitation now is going to mean a threat for all of humanity, then, well...
I mean, the only trouble is we can trust them, but we still got to get the camp to trust us.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think we've been welcomed with open arms, correct? We don't necessarily need to tell them everything.
Well, yeah, but if it turns out we're being a bit, cloak and dagger, a bit dodgy, I mean, we don't want to look dodgy, do we?
A job to do, but at the same time, if this temple is what has attracted these slightly off soldiers to the region, then, I mean, perhaps if we get this mummy away from here, then the aid camp will be left alone.
I think that we can smooth things over with the camp. We can calm them down and relax them. And, if we do move these soldiers on, they'll probably feel, rather supportive of us. I suppose... Well, it feels like now we kind of move over to a more logistic, mission-oriented operation, right? We have the information we need. Well, some of it, I think, Minnie, you still want to talk to the locals, but I don't know what's next. I mean, do we plan to get these soldiers out of the camp one way or another? I don't think we can do it with talking. Or do we plan to go straight to the temple? Maybe lure them out there? I don't know.
We have our mission. I think if we fulfill it might be a 2 birds, 1 stone thing. I'm not too sure. That's not necessarily my area of expertise. I think that's the lieutenant's kind of wheelhouse, and possibly why they're here in the first place. I have a slightly different specialty. To it, I'm going to go find the nurse.
Okay.
See if I can find out a little bit more about the humanity threat thing.
Fair enough. Well,
cool.
Yes, I think that there's some research to be done by people, some preparations to be made. I think I'll spend the evening trying to just secure our...
We're into the night now too, just to clarify that. So as we're going into sun has set, You can hear the trucks beginning to cross over the river as it seems soldiers are beginning to return. So anything taping now would be like, and it's also been a long day of travel. So it'll be looking like, a couple of bits and pieces and then probably plan to retire.
Probably, yeah, cool.
Pretty good.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Jim. Just
No, I will head to bed. I didn't have any major action. I was looking for something to like, I'll just go like sort of be generally pleasant to everybody to try and kind of make them like us. But I think Hubert is done and will use sleep to heal from the bullet wound you gave me, Dave.
What?
You shot me.
How dare?
I'll do it again. Okay, so Minnie's gonna go and seek out the nurse. Does anyone else want to do anything for the night or go with?
I will not go with, just because reasons. But I will post myself up outside our tent, ostensibly because I want to keep an eye on these vehicles that are coming back in and get a gauge of like what state the soldiers are in. I also do want to know when Miss Sinclair comes back because while she does talk a lot, she's still a member of the expedition, and therefore, if anything goes wrong, I'd like to be at least awake and alert for anything. And finally, as I said, I'm very intelligent. That is kind of my whole thing, is tactics. I would like to spend the time, while waiting for Miss Wilhelmina, smoking outside the tent, keeping an eye on things, starting to go over all of the map that we've got, the information that we've got, and start devising a tactical plan for what we could do in terms of do we take out the soldiers beforehand or afterwards? Are there ways to distract them and get them away from the area we want to explore? All that kind of stuff, which Art, am not going to do. I would like my character with their very intelligent brain to do that for me. And essentially that's my plan, is can I think about this enough to give us some kind of bonus or advantage going into whatever we do next.
100%. All right, so Lieutenant Carter's going to go over some plans and waits for Minnie to return.
It's all up here.
Hubert, yep, you're gonna head to bed, get some much needed rest, get all comfy, cozy.
You shot me, Dave, with a
I'll
rifle.
do it. You keep that mouth running. I'll do it again. Dr. Sam.
I did return the favor by shooting 3 of him. So
Very true.
Dr. Sam.
I'd like to kind of get to ingratiating myself and therefore us in with the camp, perhaps by joining the doctor's rounds and seeing, who needs what kind of treatment.
You can head around. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. So
with the higher ups mission and all that good stuff.
Yeah, no, love it. All right. So first of all, let's Dr. Sam, can you give me a medicine roll? Sorry, I guess you're not great on medicine, are you? You're better at first aid is your angle.
Better at first aid, but this feels like medicine.
Actually,
right?
do roll a medicine roll. Take a bonus dice because you'll be assisted effectively by others in helping out.
All right, that's what I'll do.
good at
And
Oh, you're great at
no.
medicine.
Du poids of luck to make sure I don't ruin the mission before it started.
Go for it. When you said you were better at first aid than medicine, I was picturing you'd put 10 points. You were at 30. I didn't realize you were at 70. You're better than most of the doctors here. So that's actually
really?
kind of
Oh, that's not
hilarious for
bad.
Dr. Sam, though, as being very understated. I've got a bit. Sure, I've been known to throw the scalpel around. Yeah, you go around.
But 85 first aid, so I'm better in a pinch than in
wow. You're a
a
good
long-term
doctor.
thing. There
Okay,
you go.
great. You head around, and Dr. Salvatorelli, she'll be the one that shows you. She seems to be the much happier to kind of talk to you, and she'll also be the one that's assisting you as you go around. For what it's worth, you are, drumroll, better at medicine than she is. Actually, sorry, no, she's got you by 5. So she you're in the very similar things. You're at a similar level of skill, and she seems quite charmed by your knack for things, and also your kind of bedside manner and your ability to talk to people and ease them. First of all, they are treating a number of locals that were wounded in basically crossfire throughout the whole thing. They also have soldiers from both sides that they are assisting and intend to send back to where they came from. You can go around and help a bit, and this will definitely ingratiate you with the camp and the people that need help. You will also notice something with the success. A number of people were taken in recently, as in literally just last night before you arrived, and one of them is a young boy from the village, and he has a strange burning lash across his chest that looks almost as if it was a wrapped a burning hot coil wrapped around it. It's kind of like blistered and puckered slightly. It's maybe like a really high-speed friction burn, as if he was like a tire went across it very quickly.
Yucky.
The child has not woken. He was found on the other side of the river by a couple of people that went down to fill canteens and brought back across. He's expected
So
to
no one
wake
knows
not
what it
too
was.
long. No one knows what caused it. But the boy was out at night, just playing or filling water or something. He was on the wrong side of the river, which is a little strange, but yeah.
It's
Doctor,
not good.
as they say.
What?
No, you're right. It's not a good.
That's not good.
Dr. Salvatorelli will stand next to you as you both look down, and she just goes, "We just don't know when he'll wake, but it should be soon, hopefully." And
No guesses about what it was?
it doesn't match any of the other wounds. It's no gunshot. It's no shrapnel from artillery. We don't suspect this was military, or else, damn it, I'd throw those soldiers out myself. But I think this is. I just don't know. Perhaps when he wakes, he'll be able to tell us more.
Yeah, reckon so.
Would you sit with him, Dr. Sam? Would you
Oh,
be
yeah.
here when he wakes up?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. See if we get lucky, eh?
I'll join you if that's all right.
Oh, that'd be fine. Happy to have the company.
And the couple of chairs will be sat down. She'll fetch some, tea or whatever, and you can park there and watch over the boy as he sleeps slightly restlessly. Park you there for the evening, and possibly into the night. You'll get some rest at some point, but you're kind of there, so when he wakes up, and you're talking with the doctor. Elsewhere, Wilhelmina, can you give me you're going to need to chase down this nurse. It's not a massive camp, but there's a couple people oot and a boot. Do you have a pertinent skill?
I would probably go find Sergio first and who we've already met, who we recognize, and just say that I heard a nurse got a little bit of a fright from one of the soldiers, and I was just wondering if I could find them and hear about that story a little bit more. And I think I would probably charm.
Yeah, go for it. Make a
charm
charm
is
roll.
where I
As you go
want.
over, you see him. He stiffens slightly when you mention her, and seems to be ready to kind of dismiss and.
Oh, a fumble.
Oof.
No, not a fumble, because I'm over 50.
No, that is a fumble.
That's a
100
fumble,
is
yeah.
always a
100 is
fumble.
always a fumble. My
I'm an
God.
idiot.
Oh no.
As you start
That's fine. That's good.
as you start to ask
Love
around
failure.
after it, he said at first he begins to say no, and he says no, that'll be Elena, and then he sort of pauses and he goes, all right, I'll take you to her, but listen, she's avoiding the doctors. You can't tell Gomez about this. You can't tell Salvatorelli. I'll come to your tent later tonight, and I'll walk with you. I'll take her to her. She's on the outskirts. She's taking some time to herself.
Okay. That sounds wonderful.
Okay, but keep this to yourself, between you and I. Understand?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Okay, all right. I'll meet you later tonight.
Yeah.
He sort of gives you a conspiratorial nod, and then he'll head off in the other direction.
Cool. Great. That went really well.
Do we have the same definition of fumble?
I think these are
think we do.
consequences later.
Oh no.
We have the exact same
And
definition.
then the other thing is Giorgio, our local leader.
Waiting for him to return. Okay. He
And I
is-
suppose if this is in the village, there's probably fires and people hanging out and eating and drinking, and I will imbibe with the locals and kind of chat in Spanish to those who know Spanish, and just generally hang out with the locals.
Yeah, 100%. You'll head down and sit at around one of the fires and talk with people. They are very welcoming, especially to those that are coming and bringing aid. They'll tell you that Giorgio is something of a local hero. He has, come through for the village time and time again, and seems to be very much well regarded. He also has a kind of not religious feel to him, but definitely like they treat him with some reverence. And they say he will be arriving late tonight. If you wish, though, but he will have traveled long and far in preparation for the forthcoming festival. So he will rest in the morning, and you can speak to him then if you please.
Yeah, and at the mention of the festival, I'd just love to hear a bit more about that.
We hold a festival each year. We call it the Festival of the Dreamer, and it has been in our people for time immemorial, as long as we've been here. It speaks of a creature or a god that slumbers across the river, and 5 pillows upon which it rests, that every year a member of our village travels to and lays down gifts before to ensure that it slumbers still. The story is that if it ever wakes, it will bring great wrath not only to us, but to those far, far abroad.
Okay. Minnie will just get as much. She's just infinitely curious about this festival's taking notes, is really enthusiastic, wants to hear what the last one was like, just everything about it. She's like getting to describe things and making not too bad sketches. And yeah,
you talk with them for quite some time heading into the night. They will tell you about a lot of it is clearly like, if it had a purpose, it has since been absorbed into just general festivity as well, and it's very much just a cultural time for the people of the village to come together to celebrate the new year, or not the new year, but to celebrate the year and, you know, the people amongst it. So there will be food that they will prepare. They have not games, but like celebrations and prayer that they will conduct all throughout a 2-week-long period, which should be beginning in not too long.
I'm going to drink with them enthusiastically because I want to be friends with them. And also because I made a fumble and somebody's coming to speak to me and coming to get me later on tonight. I'm going to get drunk and spend 5 luck to avoid the effects of alcohol.
Okay. All right. Fuck yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, you drink with them and just kind of have a rip-roaring time. All right.
And then I will sort of stumble back to the tent. Knowing in the back of my mind, I'm pretty sure I think somebody's coming to see me. I've got an appointment.
What the hell are we doing? Okay.
What was I doing? I should probably get some sleep, but I think there's a reason I was staying up. Oh dear, I should have written that one down. Never thought I'd have to keep a calendar out in the jungle in Bolivia, but here we are.
By the time you return,
Paraguay. We're in Paraguay.
Hubert is asleep, but Lieutenant Carter is still awake. I presume, like, you know, just sort of almost silhouetted with the desk, the light on the desk.
I would be like silhouetted.
You'd be outside.
In the light, like there's light coming through the tent opening, and I am silhouetted like next to the opening. You can see the very slight glow of a cigarette end. Otherwise, it's just like the silhouette, quite sleek silhouette because I don't have like my jacket on. And as like Miss Sinclair wanders in,
Lieutenant, can I have one of those?
Yes, and pull one out, and we'll offer a light.
Light it. And,
You've been drinking, Miss.
Excessively. I'm sure I'm still quite capable.
Undoubtedly.
But the stuff that they make up here is... You should give it a go.
Let's get you to bed, Miss Sinclair.
Oh, no, I think I have a meeting.
A meeting?
Uh-huh. But I can't tell you what it's about. I've got to keep it a secret.
A secret meeting?
Uh-huh.
Good. That sounds exciting. Who was this secret meeting with?
Secret?
Yes, but... Of course. Secret meeting. With a secret individual. Very good. Well, if you're sure...
I'm going to take out a flask that she's enthusiastically received from the villagers, I assume, in exchange for various hilarities.
Well,
Would you like a bit of the... All right. So thank you for the cigarette.
Sure. I'll take some and take a small, like, swig of it. I assume it burns like fire.
Yeah, it's like fermented goat milk or something insane.
Good shit.
Yeah, it's... I'll take a swig of, like, a swig, not a huge amount, but enough of it, be like, that is not bad.
Right?
Here's a thought. Why don't you put your feet up just until this person comes to collect you, and then, you can go on your secret meeting afterwards.
Well, that's a good idea.
You've been on your feet all day.
I have.
And it is, well, I don't mean to be presumptuous, but you are somewhat small. You'll have to walk a lot further than the rest of us. A lot faster.
It's twice the leg movement for half the speed. It's not very efficient.
Well then.
And the mules don't like me very much.
No, I don't think the mules like anyone. They tend to kick.
They like Sam.
Everyone likes Sam.
Everyone likes Sam.
I've
known Sam. Grind a cigarette out.
I've known Sam for 15 years.
Really?
Yeah. We fought together.
15 years?
Yeah.
Surely
I'll sort of like...
You couldn't possibly be that old, neither can he.
I will like sort of slip an arm, like, around your sort of shoulders and or waist. In a friendly way, I will also be like just kind of keeping an eye on how you react to that. But like, around waist and underarm and go, look, why don't we get, put your feet up briefly and we'll deal with this in a little while.
Yes, quite. Good idea.
And I'll lead Miss Sinclair inside, and if we... Are you, like, swaying quite a bit?
No, she's not,
okay.
she's not swaying. Like,
Okay.
Because of the... I'm going to have no penalties to things. I'm not...
I like the idea that you're still very drunk, you just don't have penalties.
Jolly. I am very jolly.
Amazing.
Time.
We'll, like, pop you down on the bed, and then I think, like, if there's, like, awkwardness about getting legs up, I'll just, like, help swing you in and just kind of, like, put a little blanket up over your knees.
I feel like she'll just sit and then kind of, like, just slide sideways.
Yeah. Lieutenant will just sort of, Carter will sort of, like, prop you up with some pillows and put, like, a sort of, like, blanket up and go, now, I'm not quite ready for bed yet, but do you know what this fellow looked like?
Oh. Yes.
Good. Would you like me to come and get you when they arrive?
Yes. Thank you.
I will. Just so I know who I'm looking for. Vague, brown hair, blue eyes. What's the go? I can't tell you that they've arrived if I don't know what they look like.
Well, they look very much like Sergio.
I see. But not Sergio. Very good, Miss Sinclair. I will, I'll come collect you. And then I will walk back outside, light another cigarette, and keep an eye on everything that's going on.
I will sink into my chins and remain drunk.
Awesome. So Lieutenant Carter steps outside and begins to keep watch, and as night sets and we begin to resolve this session, you're watching, looking for people moving and anyone coming towards the tent to meet with Minnie. Dr. Sam sits in a stool watching over the wounded boy, and Hubert harumphs quietly in his sleep, I imagine.
There's some harumping. Until I realized it was a proper scene, I was about to say I'm snoring incredibly loudly throughout the whole thing.
Oh, I like that you are. That's
absolutely.
Hilarious. There's also like the groan of metal underneath as you shift in your sleep, and the tiny cot buckles a little.
So, lastly, late at night, you don't know what time it is. Many as you've sort of got. Drunkenly fallen into slumber when you hear something tapping, scratching at the canvas, not where the door is, but across from where your bed is pressed against it. And you hear a whisper, and you hear, Saint Glenn.
Sergio!
You should not have come. The one night will not tolerate this. You have no chance. You will never find it, and we will kill you all and your friends.
And then something slumps up against the side. Lieutenant Carter, you suddenly realize that there's someone here, and when you come round the side, the flame of a lighter and the cigarette you see there is a figure slumped against the side of the tent. It is the corpse of Sergio, and his throat has been slit. Whoever did it has vanished already, but there are footsteps heading out into the jungle, and perhaps, if you are quick, next session you can follow them. That's where we're going to leave things and pick them up in a week. Cracking content.
That was a serpent. That was a serpent kind of
That sounded very serpentine.
And the code is exclamation serpent.
Speaking of which,
James, I'll flick it back to you.
Absolutely. So once again, if you have not typed !serpent into the chat, you can do so now to enter our PDF giveaway for a copy of Two-Headed Serpent to celebrate the first episode of this excellently run new campaign. Congratulations, Dave, and congratulations, everybody. I think that that's about enough time for everybody to have done so. So without further ado...
Oh, it got one in just in time.
Snuck in.
One more.
One more snuck in. Okay, we are through. And 3, 2,
That's
1.
20 seconds behind where everyone
Bang.
is.
Yeah.
RQ Stefan, congratulations.
Hey, champion.
Excellent.
You beauty.
Yes, so we will get in contact with you. You are obviously on our Discord, so we can.
listener, first time caller.
So we will follow you there.
Many
And I throw
time
back
caller.
now today.
All right,
Speaking of
beauty.
our Discord, is where you'll see RQ Stefan running the roost of the Stream Clips channel, keeping us well stocked with all of the excellent clips from the session. So that was very well earned. Thank you.
Absolute champion. All right. Well, thank you all for watching, and thank you all for playing. There'll be much more of these tremendous heroes to come, and
I love
more
them so much. I love them
goodness.
so much.
We will pick this back up next week when we return, and we very much hope to see you then. Catch you in a week. Ciao.